Here is the YOTON Y9 projector. So this is the cool little carry case that it comes in. Now I've got a ruler over there to show you how big this carry case is. And it's very compact. It's really nice. Got a nice fabric. Little zip on there, little handle to carry it around. It's actually really nice make of case. Looks quite nice, and it's enough to sort of hold the projector and all the cables and everything. So we'll open it up and you can see what's inside. So we've got a little sleeve over here where it's got the little books that come with it, so your guides, and then you've got the projector which has been secured with these velcro straps. So that's nice, quite strong there as well. So that's available there. And then we've got your HDMI cable that comes with it, and then your power plug as well, and that all fits neatly in there. And then you've also got the remote, which we'll be using, so that's available there, and it takes 2 AAA batteries, so I'll have to put 2 AAA batteries in this there. And that's the projector over here. So that's what it looks like. There's the lens cap, we've got the focus and keystone over here, we've got some navigation buttons. That's what it looks like from the side and underneath. Then we've got the little swivel stand here to lift it up and down. We've got the fan, we've got the HDMI, we've got an auxiliary, USB and DC in, which is the power, and then the back where the remote is and the speaker. So that's there. I'm going to set everything up. What I've done is I've also got a Bluetooth speaker. I want to see if it connects to Bluetooth speakers. And then I've got a USB stick, so I want to see if that runs anything off there. And then we've got a laptop to connect the Bluetooth cable so we can see if it mirrors the screen and cast it onto that. So let me get this all set up, and then we'll carry on with the video. We are now set up. I've got the remote, I've got the projector plugged in and set up, we've got the USB, the HDMI and the power plugged in, the lens cap is off, ready to go, and we've got the little stand up, we've plugged it in, the power light is on, so that's there. We've got the laptop ready, the speaker ready, and then a nice wall to film on. So what I'll do is I'll switch off the lights, and then we'll turn on the projector and see how it goes. So that's now darker here, and then we've got a glow on the power button here, which is red, so we'll press that and it turns green. We can hear the fan coming on, you can see the screen over there. Now this is not autofocus, so I'm going to have to move this to focus it. So I'm moving it to the right, and we can see it's getting clearer. So I'm rolling it to the right. We'll just wait for the next screen to come back, and then we'll carry on focusing. So that's busy loading the software that's on this. So I just need to do a bit more clearer. So there we go. So that's clear. I'm going to get the keystone. So there you can see if I move it, the English goes there and the Espanol at the bottom goes blurry. So we've just got to find that balance, which is sort of there. So that's good. Then we can use the keys on here to select. So if I press OK on the projector, that should go to the next option. Or we can use the remote, which I've got over here, and I can move through the options like so. So I can do that. We're then presented with data collection and firmware updates, so you can read through that and then you can accept to move on. Additional details, we'll accept that, and then it talks about the keystone here. So 4 side correction, 4 point correction, or skip. So we can do 4 side correction, and you can actually use the remote now. So if I go left and right, you can see how the screen is adjusting over there. And then reset to defaults is using this little cog button that's available on the remote. So I'll just click on OK, and we can exit that. And then we can go to 4 points correction, which will then change the corners in the top, so it can stretch one corner out. So you can see what I'm doing there. I'm moving the keys on the remote, so I'm pushing left and right, and as I go right you can see the top left adjusting and giving you the numbers that it is. And then we just push the back arrow to exit, and we can go skip. Enable Wi-Fi network, so we can connect to a Wi-Fi from here. So I'll do that, and then I'll carry on with the video. So I've entered in the password. You can see it's got quite a big keyboard there. So it says successfully connected. So now we're connected to the Wi-Fi. We can start Netflix straight away, or we can skip. So we'll skip and we'll do that there. And then it says congratulations. So we are now set up. So we have got the screen that pops up. So this is your home screen. At the top we've got some menus there, which I'm cycling through. So we've got a input over here, so we can use HDMI, USB or home. And then the next one is a settings, so we can see the network that we're on. We can go to Bluetooth, we can see picture, so this will obviously sort out the picture settings. Sound settings as well for bass and treble. Then system, just if it's got any time settings, auto sleep, things like that, or any updates. And then there's a help as well, where there's a QR code so you guys can look for any help if needed. So we can go to internet update check here. We can press that and see if there's any firmware updates. Okay, so the firmware is up to date. Then what we can do is I would like to do the Bluetooth. So I want to do that. And I'm going to switch on this speaker here. So I've got a Bluetooth speaker here. And what I'll do is I'll turn that on. So that's on. And then I'll put Bluetooth for it to start scanning. So that's now searching for Bluetooth. So what we'll do is we'll do that on the projector and we'll scan. And there we go, it's picked it up straight away. So there's the JBL Charge 5. So we'll say pair. So that's pairing now. And that's connected. So that's available now as the sound. Then we'll go back, our internet connection, we'll go back again. So we're back here at the top. And in the top right we can see we've got a USB plugged in over there, and we've also got the Wi-Fi and then the time and that. So we've got little apps over here that we can look at. We've got Netflix, trending, open browser. So we've got a few options over here. So what we'll do is we'll go to Netflix, we'll let that open and see if that connects. So this is connected to the internet now, so you can log in and watch Netflix. So there's some music playing. I'll just put the volume louder on this Bluetooth speaker. So that is playing via the Bluetooth speaker, and I'll move it around. And I'll take it away behind and go in front. So the Bluetooth speaker is working. Then what I'll do is I'll switch it off, and then it should go to the speaker. So now that's the speaker from the projector. Now you can tell immediately it is quite loud. So what I'll do is I'll just put the volume down using the remote. So there's the volume. So immediately you can tell it's more tinny. It's not as bassy as obviously a third-party speaker like that, but it is a small projector. You can't fit big bassy speakers inside those. So the volume works, the Bluetooth works, the speaker in the projector works. So that's all available. So that's good. Then what we'll do is we'll go home, and then what I'll do is I'll look at the input device. So there's on the remote here, we can push on the input, or we can do it at the top using that first menu option. So I'll do input. Then what I'll do is I'll turn the laptop on. So here's the laptop, switching it on. So that's now booting up. And then what I'll do is we'll go to the input, we'll choose Bluetooth, so I'm using the remote. We'll go HDMI, and this is the screen that's on the projector, and that's what is available over there. So that's there. If I do menu, you can see it replicates it. The speed's quite good. So that's working. So HDMI with the laptop is working. So that's all cool. And then we can use the remote here to go to USB. So instead of using the option on the home screen where the input is, which is this button here, so instead of using that to go to USB, I'm going to use the remote. So what I'll do is go back to home, and then I'll press this USB button that's on the remote. So I'll press that, and then it opens up the USB drive, and then we'll go into that, and then there's a folder available, so you can view files in here like photos or play music or video, which is what I'm going to do now. So I've got a few clips here that were recorded from a game, Rocket League. So there it is, nice rich color. There's the sound from the projector, nice and quick. It's doing it quite nicely. There's no lag or anything or blurring. You can see there, going through the menus. The colors are very good. I'm actually quite impressed with the colors. Let me just go closer. There's a bit of blur on the edges here, but that's with keystone, so you just need to adjust that slightly. But other than that, it's actually really clear. So that's looking really good. So I've brought the camera right next to the projector now. I'm probably about 30 centimeters away, just to show the clarity of the image that's on here. So this is in the bottom right corner. And we can see as we move to the top right, you can see there's a bit of blur on the writing. So that's fine because it is stretched. I need to fix the keystone. The projector's not perfectly placed. But overall, the quality is quite good. So that's nice and clear. It's very clear. Okay, and then there's the mute button. So that's working. Then let's see if the Bluetooth speaker comes back on. If I switch it back on, so I'll unmute it, switch on the Bluetooth speaker, so that's now on. And then it auto switches to the Bluetooth, and it's nice and bassy now. And it's quite responsive, so when it hits the ball, it makes that knocking sound or crashing sound. Yeah, it's quite responsive. It works quite well. That's good. So everything is working great. It's a nice little projector. And I just want to say thanks to YOTON for sending me this. It's really cool. Just remember, it's just not autofocus or anything like that. So if you do move it like so, you need to obviously adjust it manually because it doesn't do it on its own. So that's there. So you'd have to adjust the keystone and everything again in the focus. So if I go closer, we can see the screen gets quite small, and then we'd have to obviously adjust the focus to do that. But you can't go too close with this projector, so the minimum distance is probably where I am now, which is around 1.5 meters away. And then you can obviously, the further back you go, the bigger the screen gets. So if I pull it back even further, I'll just go a bit further. So you can see it getting bigger, and then you've got to adjust the focus again. So now it's nice and clear again. So overall, it's quite nice. The fan is fairly loud, but if you do have a louder speaker running, then you wouldn't really notice it. And also if you're watching a show, you'll eventually forget what this fan is like. So there's the fan, if you hear it on the phone. So that's there. I'll just mute the sound. So that's just the fan running. It is fairly loud, but it's still watchable. You can still watch a show and everything. And overall, it's all working fine. So it connects to HDMI, USB, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Just playing Netflix. You can download some other apps as well. So yeah, this is a nice little projector if you're looking for one. Obviously it's not the best quality, but it's still pretty good for what it is. There's also an option in the settings. If you want to reset to default, you can do that. So that's in the settings under system, right at the bottom. You can go reset defaults, and then it will clear out any logins and that you might have. So I'll do that, and then it should log me out of Netflix and all the other apps. For sound, you can change the bass and the treble. You can put some surround sound on where it will try and project the sound for you. And then the picture over here, you can change that. You can change the picture mode. So you can also project from the front, rear, front ceiling or rear ceiling. So you can mount the projector and adjust the settings like that. Picture mode, you can also change brightness and things like that. So if you want to make a custom one or watching a movie, there's cinema, there's sport, there's vivid, there's high bright and standard, and then custom as well. So there's a lot of settings there for the image. To switch off the projector, you can press the power button on the remote, which will then take you to a countdown of 15 seconds, and you can cancel it, or you can hold down the power button on here, press it once, same thing happens, but if you press it again, it will then turn off. And there we go. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next review. Cheers.